Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. This is Travis Juntti with the Living in Marquette, Michigan team. Now we've done a few videos, maybe you've seen a few things, and we talk a lot about Marquette, Michigan. And I'm not sure if you're from Marquette or if you're from Michigan or if you have any idea where it's at. But what I wanted to do today was kind of do a deep dive into the map so you kind of have an idea of where Marquette, Michigan is and maybe some of the surrounding areas and some of the places that we talk about, so you kind of know, what life would be like living in Marquette, Michigan. Just a quick housekeeping. Again, this is Travis Juntti with the Living in Marquette, Michigan team. All my contact information is down below. You can reach out days, nights, or weekends, whatever works best for you. Call, text, email, whatever it is. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the little notification bell to make sure you get notified on all things living in Marquette, Michigan. Now, without further ado, what I would like to do is jump into the map so we have a general idea of what it looks like living in Marquette, Michigan. So Michigan as a whole, we're sitting right here. We're surrounded by the Great Lakes. Michigan, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which we're talking about more so today, borders here on Wisconsin. Now, Marquette is the largest town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Now, that being said, the largest town is still only a town of right around 20,000 people. So that is not a large town. I don't know where you're coming from. It's fairly remote. It's a beautiful area. You either, you may like it, you may not. So I'm going to go into the satellite view here. That's kind of what I like a little better. So a lot of times we're talking to people that are coming here, our family, so they're looking to be in different schools. So Marquette schools, I mean, you're going to kind of be in this general area. Nagani schools is another popular school. You also have, Ishpeming and West Ishpeming, which is another couple of schools. West Ishpeming is actually called Westwood. Ishpeming is, well, it's Ishpeming. And then you have Nagani. You also do have the Gwynn school system, which is actually where I went to school, which encompasses kind of this Sands area, actually by this crossroads here myself. But this area here, it comes up into here. And like I said, this is kind of before school of choice. But the whole school district, I mean, it comes up in here, and this is the whole Gwynn area. So you do have some options depending on what school you want to be to, and you certainly could do your own due diligence on what your school ratings are. Like I said, a lot of times I use niche.com or School Digger, one of those kind of sites that kind of give you a basic idea of the different school systems and what kind of ranks where. And we can talk about that kind of things when we jump on a Zoom call for sure. Anyways, what I wanted to do here is focus kind of on Marquette. I mean, like I said, it's not a very big town. I mean, we're sitting at 20,000. I mean, there's not like big subdivisions or big neighborhoods. I know we talk a little bit about some of the subdivisions there. Like when I mentioned, Granite Point in one of the other videos, I mean, Granite Point, I mean, we're sitting at what? I don't know what that is, 40, 50 homes. Some of the other neighborhoods over here by the Gray Walls Golf Course. You do have some nice neighborhoods back over here off of 492 is some nice neighborhoods. This Oak Hill area. Oak Hill, you got Bishop Woods over here. There's some nice areas that are kind of off into the township, outside of city taxes. So there are some nice areas there. I'm certainly not trying to forget anybody, but there's certainly a lot of areas you can live that is kind of outside of the city. Another beautiful area back here is the Huron Woods, which is off of Forestville Road, which is right off of Wright Street, kind of right off the main, where they're doing a lot of new construction with the Targets and the Lowe's and the Meijer, and they got like Panera Bread going up here. Yep, the Panera Bread up in there, Texas Roadhouse. So there's a lot of things that are coming into Marquette, and you could still be close into the action of that. But again, back into Marquette. So what the dividing line is, I mean, so Marquette, you do have South Marquette, which is kind of right here south of 41, kind of coming down this area. This is kind of that South Marquette. I remember growing up as a kid here, you go to the South Marquette beach, back when this was in full operation, it was like the beach was a little bit warmer as you swam into here. So it was kind of a little trick, like you go into, you swimming in the Lake Superior, it's ice cold, right? You jump in there, it's like it's cold. You got to get used to it. But those of us that are from there, grew up there, I mean, it was kind of no big deal. Saying that, where I know like my brother can't stand the cold weather, so he wouldn't be jumping in the water that much. But anyways, that's kind of your South Marquette area. And as you head into South Marquette, you can follow along here on 41, which also goes into just a little quaint town, called Harvey. So there is some nice living over here. Sometimes you could find, some of these houses off the beaten path, just a little bit outside of Marquette. So like I said, we're not that far outside of Marquette, heading into Harvey. It's funny when you're growing up there, it's like, you live in Harvey, it's like I live way out in Harvey. Harvey, but if you're going into staying in Michigan, let's say you're in Metro Detroit and you live over by Novi and you work in Detroit, I mean, that's a long way. I mean, you're talking 30 to 45 minutes, where here, I mean, your max travel time into work might be 15, 20 minutes. So I mean, sometimes you're battling snow or whatever, so you might get that. So you do have Northern Campus at Northern Michigan University. It's got the campus here. A lot of different professors and people with the university. A lot of rental homes in this kind of corridor along Lincoln here. There's a lot of rental homes and stuff like that. Over here as well, when you get into this part over by between Wright Street, in this area here, there's a lot of rental homes, some nice homes head up into Holly. Now we mentioned a little bit about lake homes. We're talking short inventory. I mean, we're short inventory in all of Marquette County. But if you want a lake home, we're talking really extremely short inventory. We don't have a lot of lake homes that are sitting right on the lake in Marquette. But these homes here, I mean, you're sitting right on the lake, but there's not many to be found. They are some nicer homes and a little bit older, but finding a home here, there's not many here. This Lakeshore Boulevard doesn't go that far. Now you can get up here if you're heading up towards Big Bay. You got this 550. You come out of this way, Big Bay Road, which heads all the way up into Big Bay up here. But here's another area of where you have some lake homes coming in here off of the Partridge Bay Trail. But here again, there's not that many homes up here. I mean, there's only a select handful of homes. So the prices of homes that as you get up into this way, they certainly go up into the high $1 million mark. As you get closer to that. Into that water. A lot of this place is kind of how we all want it to be, right? It's all protected, public property. You go into this Little Presque Isle day use area. You get the Wetmore Landing area. We have some nice drone shots of some of this area as well. But a lot of this area, I mean, this is all places that you can go and enjoy yourself, and that's part of the beauty of living in Marquette. There's not a lot of hillside mountain living. Really the only thing is that Granite Point that we talked about, where it's kind of just that higher elevation. Those kind of homes where you see the elevation, but we don't have homes sitting on hogbacks or sitting on Sugarloaf or anything like that. So we don't really have that option. But anyways, as far as like downtown, so we do have the Trowbridge Park here. I lived in this area when I was going to school for a while in this Trowbridge Park. There's some older homes in here, but for the most part, just like any other city, you're going to find a lot of older homes as you're in the Marquette area. So these homes are a little bit older, a little bit smaller. If you want to be downtown and you want to have some really cool, really unique homes, that area there, if you head over to up here, you got Arch Street, Ridge Street, a lot of beautiful homes in here, Michigan. A lot of these homes in here are some really unique. You got some old Victorian homes, some really cool places as you kind of go along here. I believe I have some videos of driving down this way, but look at these beautiful homes as you drive along Ridge here. I mean, a lot of these places are unique. They're large, just nice full-grown trees, nice sidewalks. I mean, this is kind of the idea of downtown living. A lot of people, they like to live in this area. A lot of these homes have been redone. You can see a lot of these homes are redone, older homes, or maybe there's some of these are even new construction actually, where they took down some homes and built the new homes in there. But a lot of these have been renovated and are in excellent condition. So you do have a few options as you're living downtown, right? I mean, you do have your older homes. Maybe you're if you're heading down like 3rd or 4th Street or some of the other streets in town. You do have some of the just regular duplex homes or just older, just old school, colonial or whatever homes. There's a lot of those homes in downtown Marquette, so you do have a lot of options for that. Like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people that want to live outside of town. They want to live on Acreage. I deal with a lot of people that are living on Acreage, so a lot of people end up gravitating over to the Nagani schools in the Nagani area. And one thing to keep in mind, like I have in this other video up here, the snow really changes as you go up the hill. So we're talking, we're heading here, we got this Walmart area. We're starting to really come up the hill from the lake. The lake effect snow really starts to make a difference as you head up this hill. I spent some time living up here on Midway Drive, so this snow up here, it makes a big difference as you're coming from Marquette, heading into the Nagani area, heading into Ishpeming area. Your total snowfall, really starts to go up as you hit these higher elevation areas. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. And another thing, a lot of these places are are out in the middle of nowhere, right? So we're going to some of these places out here. All these little 581s, these 482s, a lot of these homes back here, and there's some of these even little back roads, you're talking, County Road PB and PBP. Or a lot of these areas, they don't get plowed, right away first thing. I mean, there's a lot of streets here. Now the county doesn't do a good job about plowing streets, but let's say if you have to get out early in the morning, you might have a hard time getting out in the morning if you're living on some of those roads, and the roads are full of snow. You might have a challenge trying to get into work. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you're house searching in the summer and you find this beautiful landscape, this beautiful property, and all of a sudden winter comes and you're dumped on with snow, that's one thing you have to make sure you understand. And that's one thing that we talk about, when we're talking about living in Marquette, Michigan. That's why we have to reach out to the #1 relocation team in Marquette, Michigan, in Marquette County. But I mean, let's say if you want some other lake living, another popular lake, they do have there's not a whole lot of living here, but they do have a small little area here off of Teal Lake. There's a lot of people that live right inside of Nagani. Now, if we're talking, downtown living, and now we're going down a rabbit hole again, but downtown Nagani, there's a lot of older homes in here, 1800s, whatever, back early 1900s, back when the the mining was popular. That's why they call them the Nagani miners. That's a little fun fact. A lot of these homes are built around that time, so there's a lot of older homes right inside of town. But you do have access to Teal Lake. A lot of people like to live over here off the Dead River storage basin. So there's a lot of beautiful homes back here, back on the lakes, and back kind of a little bit of rolling hills. A lot of these homes along here. You can see all these up in here, right? A lot of people that own plow trucks and stuff, so they're driving around or plowing their driveway as they're heading out in the morning. So those little things that you don't really think about. When you're coming from a different area. Maybe you're coming from an area that's a lot more mild temperature, even down in lower peninsula of Michigan, you don't get a lot of snowfall. You might be plowing your driveway a couple times a year, or anywhere, just really even down in southern Wisconsin or something like that, right? You're not using your plows a lot, where you're plowing stuff all the time. So anyways, I wanted to jump back in. I know a lot of people are talking about, okay, I want to live in Marquette, but what kind of amenities do you guys have? I know we talked about amenities in some of those other videos, but if you're living in Marquette, there's a lot of good amenities that you could find that you might be looking for, right? We don't have your Costco's or Sam's Club or anything. I know we talked about another video. We used to drive down to Sam's Club down in Green Bay there for a 3 or 4 hour trip, and that's how we kind of stocked up on stuff. But we do have the Meijer available. We do have Target. So a lot of people are just really looking for that. Menards has been a staple for a long time. We do have the Lowe's up in here, Walmart Supercenter. So we do have a lot of options for some of that, some of the basic stuff. We don't have a big shopping mall. We don't really have, some of the other stuff. Marquette is very popular for its small businesses, smaller restaurants. So you can find a lot of time just spending time at, little restaurants and stuff. I know I've talked about in other videos, one of my favorite places, it's odd, but it's just like Main Street Pizza. I mean, I grew up on that stuff when I was going to college, Main Street Pizza. But a lot of good places, Vango's and Thai House and the coffee shops, Black Rocks. So a lot of good places in town that you can spend a lot of time in, but that kind of gives you a basic idea. I know we talk about on the video, Lower Harbor, that's kind of this downtown Marquette area. We talk about, the Presque Isle Park here, that's kind of up on here on the north side of Marquette. The Black Rocks, as you can see right here. This is where I took some videos up in there, but this is a very popular swimming destination. So like I said, there's a lot of things you can do in Marquette. You can take your kayak up here, some of these islands up here. That's a lot of fun. If you're coming out, dropping in from Presque Isle here, you can take your kayak up this way to Middle Island and kayak around some of these houses up here. So a lot of fun things you can do there. So hopefully it gives you a basic idea of what life is like in Marquette, Michigan with that quick little map tour. I know there's not a whole lot involved in Marquette. Like I said, we're sitting at a population in the city of Marquette. We're sitting right around that 20,000, and even Marquette County as a whole is right around that 65 to 70,000 people. So it's not a overly heavily populated area. You got Marquette, West Ishpeming, Gwinn, Harvey, some of those main areas that you could find to live in. So like I said, all my contact information is down below. I appreciate you guys watching and staying till the end. Until next time, we'll see you on Living in Marquette, Michigan.